Oh, fuck me. Why am I doing this? To myself again? Wait, I just started recording. Shit. Okay, this is my review on the Human Centipede Trilogy. The unrated cut and theatrical cuts of all 3 installments. Good news is, you don't have to see these movies if you're interested. And good news is, they're not connected at all in the same universe. They take place in separate timelines, each one installment. Separate worlds, I guess. Sorry, I was gagging on my anxiety. Well, the sequels get a 0 out of 10 to both the unrated cut and theatrical cut to the Human Centipede. That's the first sequel and the 3rd installment. Yeah, they actually call it a 3rd one. And the sequel a sequel, even though they're not. It's sequels directly to the first one. Beats me. Neither one are. And thus, in case of those who are watching, this is in case if you're curious. The sequels get a 0 out of 10. That's my thoughts on the sequels. The theatrical cut and the unrated cut to the sequels. And then I'm going to talk about the first one last. Where the premise of the 3rd one takes place. Well, it's in a prison where the warden is a complete psychopath. And wants to basically, in order to make violence go down in the prison, he needs to basically get them under control by actually performing a live human centipede for the prisoners. Rehabilitation by making each prisoner become a member of a human centipede. And those who don't know what it is, the concept is literally a human having his mouth shown to another person's anus hole. And being that, surviving on that. That's basically a contest, and it extends through that concept as it multiplies, as they keep on making the human centipede longer in each installment. And the 3rd one is the longest one. Why do you think the creators did that? Beats me. Honestly, I thought 3 people was enough for crowded as it was for the first one. And I can't remember what the premise is for the first sequel at all. Except that's in black and white, the entire thing, and the only movie that's in black and white in this franchise. Thank God it is. The sequels are holy fuck. The sequels to the Human Centipede movies are a mess. They're not scary. They're disgusting. But they're mostly dumb. I mean, I noticed that as we get more and more to the later installments, after the first one happens, they get to the horror concept of the human centipede earlier in each installment. And wait less to give you it. That's not exactly scary as much as gross. Test and gross. Because the problem is I find that when you rush into any horror movie, once you get to the horror part of the movie, I find when everyone wants to, when a horror movie, okay, I believe any horror movie could actually be good no matter how gruesome it could be, including the human centipede concepts, I believe. But I also believe you gotta create tension in order of us to actually care about the victims. The sequels installments, well, do each time worse and worse, with making us like the victims who fall to this and the situation of the human centipede and become part of it. And each one just gets dumber and less scary. And you wonder, how many more can they make after a while, after you get to the third one, you know? But God, I hope the third one's the last. So, let's talk about the original 2009 theatrical and unrated cut, The Human Centipede. Now, it's not terrible, but it's not one of my favorite horror movies or one of my favorite movies I'm crazy about, okay? But you should watch this with caution when I tell you this. You have to have a solid, strong enough stomach for any of these, probably. If you don't, you're going to probably find the closest restroom, because you're going to start getting sick, probably. For if you're like the average person, weak-minded individual that don't actually consume as much movies as content that I do, unfortunately, and kind of build up a bit of immune system to this stuff. Sort of. Not fully, just a little bit. And I will say, now there are lots of good points the first one has. It basically has likable characters and a pretty over-the-top and also kind of disturbed individual that's the villain of the film, who is the dog that works on the thing. On all three victims that felt trapped to it. However, that stuff that doesn't really happen till the halfway point. The rest of the half is just a driving road trip movie with two girls trying to get to point B to point A to point B, but then the things go bad to Loris, and they fall duped because they walked onto the steps of the stranger's house that's a total wackadoo and wants to experiment on these girls along with this guy that he has captured. And therefore, this is where he explains the human centipede concept. And oh my god, you realize this guy's totally whack. You really see how whack he was before. And it's not like he seems like a normal dude at first. he seems kind of a bit of a suspicious, I thought, or maybe just because he looks like a suspicious, has one of those suspicious looking faces. I don't know, the point is the guy that plays him might not be the best actor, but he's the best actor that could play it for this role, for this movie, that character. I say that because he's kind of a winning stale. He's kind of he's once you see like him in other movies like the third installment, he plays a different character in the third installment. He plays a warden. You realize he's not that great of an actor. In the first one, it's like one of those, like, it's kind of like the Matthew Broderick movie called Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where you basically have a miscasted person do a terrible job, but somehow bring the benefits in this movie. Like Ferris Bueller did with Matthew Broderick. And I am not going to talk about more details, but spoiler alert, one of the victims stays alive at the end, two are dead. But no happy endings. Wanna know why? Well, the doctor, there's a shootout at the end, and one of the human centipedes got shot in the head, and the other one starved to death. And the one in the middle is the one that's still alive, and her fate is left uncertain. God, I hope someone saves her ass. Well, she was going to be there forever, because he's the doc that was one that experimented and did this thing. He's dead. He got shot in the neck, bleeding out. During a shootout, a bunch of shooters shooting at his place. It's wild. And the movie ends on that note. It's kind of a depressing note when you think about it, and a disturbing note. Well, that's the ending. So, what did you thought of the movie? Review on the trilogy of Human Centipede? Did you like any of what I described from any of these movies? Any of the installments? I wonder who's watching this. And I'm a little dizzy. So, except for the first one, gets a 0 out of 10. The first installment gets a 5 out of 10. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't believe I gave the Human Centipede the first one a 5 out of 10. I say that because I'm questioning my sanity at this point in life. Because what I was see off the movie, I see kind of something that's a bit of an experimental movie. Of a motion picture for horror. I'm not going to pretend I can not understand. I'm not going to pretend that I can, to not see why other people don't like any of these movies, okay? I understand why you don't like them. They are a disturbing, gross concept for horror genre. As a whole, any concept. But horror is horror, I guess. Subscribe if you haven't. Like my video, I hope, if you haven't. And watch more of my videos. Oh, man. I'm breaking a sweat. So the first one, just to clarify, it's not something I would recommend to anybody. It's not something I would actually avoid. Is tell people, I would tell someone to avoid watch. But it's not bad. It's just, you have to have a strong enough stomach for any of these. I feel like. Goodbye!